Hi, welcome to my channel and welcome to part 3 of my little mini series on getting my 5x7 travel camera, which I picked up for silly cheap money on eBay, back to shooting film again. The major step, of course, being making a spring back so it will take modern double dark slides. So let's get into it. In part 2 you saw me make the basic frame for the new focusing screen and the whole slide-in spring back main frame, all laminated out of a mixture of laser ply and a little bit of I would say mahogany, but it's probably not mahogany, it's sapele or mahogany-ish as we like to call it. That was all completed, and the next step was to get the ground glass secured and of course put into exactly the same position as the film plane will be. Easier said than done, of course. The first order of business was going to be to tame down the power of the springs on the spring back a little bit. The video at the end of part 2 of the spring back being used, admittedly without the ground glass in, showed that it was a little bit on the vicious side. In fact, the whole thing bit me and actually drew blood. So I decided to tame it down, and the easiest way to do that is to take about 25% off the width of the springs. As you can see there, I sculpted them in a little bit with a file and smoothed them off again, and that has taken it down to being an acceptable level of brutality. It hangs on to the double dark slide well, but doesn't actually have your fingers off in the process. Well, here's that lovely ground glass screen, which I got from the guys at Intrepid Cameras, and I've actually managed to have hanging around in the workshop for the last couple of weeks without breaking it. There's a miracle. It's been a close run thing on a couple of occasions though, I'll have to admit. I decided to go for clips to hold the ground glass in, very similar to the clips that I have on my MPP 5.4. And I decided the material to make them out of was beryllium bronze, which is used for making electrical contacts. And it's a fantastic material. It's easily cuttable actually with a pair of old scissors, and has a considerable amount of spring to it. I had 2 different patterns of clip to make. One for the 3 sides that was going to be a sort of standard pattern, and one for the top where a thumb latch, or the handle that helps open up the spring back, was mounted, and I made a special clip that will go underneath that mounting. Pretty as the natural colour of beryllium bronze is, I didn't really want 4 shiny chunks of it staring me in the eyes as I was attempting to compose a picture, so I sprayed them with a similar matte lacquer that I'd used on the rest of the screen frame. Here it's all trial fitted together before I actually get to the difficult bit of making sure that the ground glass is exactly in the film plane. And here's my solution to that thorny little problem. The strange lash up of a 12-inch ruler in stainless steel, a large neodymium magnet, and a pair of calipers, vernier calipers, digital variety. You can see me measuring here the front surface of the film holder to the film plane. I then did exactly the same thing from the reverse side of the ground glass holder, and calculated the thickness of the spacers that I needed to get the ground glass into the right place. That turned out to be about 2.18 millimeters. I allowed a big gap here because in future I might want to fit a Fresnel screen, and that gives me plenty of space to fit a Fresnel screen and still have a bit of space for a spacer in there as well. In every job there comes a little unexpected quirk, and one of those was the velvet light seal on the camera body. I thought it would be fairly easy to get thick velvet to replace it. It turned out not to be the case. Everything I found was far too weak and weedy. So what I actually did was use some black string fitted with contact adhesive into the slot on the camera body, but then I had to actually cut a channel in the back of the spring back because the string was a little bit thicker than perhaps velvet would have been. So I did that, and everything clicked together and worked very smoothly. My workshop unit has a nice little garden area, and so I took the camera outside to take its pictures. Starting the reassembly process. There's the back on, checking its fit with the film holder. I then decided that I was going to replace the screen in the original rear door, which I did with a piece of acrylic, which I actually used some plastic abrasive pad to roughen up the surface. It actually makes a really, really effective, in inverted commas, ground glass screen, which is well worth having a spare one for your camera anyway, because they're practically unbreakable. I'll probably actually make one for my 5.4 and put in the case when I go out, in case I have an accident with my ground glass. So that's the back completed. Actually smoother than I thought it was going to go, to be honest. And the next job will be to go to the other end of the camera and make a new lens board in order to take some of my other lenses that I already have. And I've got a surprise lens there as well to share with you on the next episode. So that's about it for this time. As always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, then give me a like and consider subscribing. Anyway, until next time, take care and see you soon.